Hi everybody, today is going to be a fun video. You might have seen a little plug I did on doing stripes on a 1970 Chevelle. They're more difficult than probably any stripe that I did, and I'll talk about why. One probably is the value of a Chevelle, way back when we were doing a lot of stripes compared to a Shelby Mustang. There just seemed like there was a lot more information, and even to this day, there's a lot more easier information on how to do Shelby stripes, 65 to 67 for sure. And then when you get into these, it just seems like General Motors didn't really work out the details, but I hope to work out some of the details that were difficult for me and just show you, some of the things that are really important on putting stripes on a Chevelle. One, I want to talk about our sponsors. You can't do this without measuring. And if you've ever seen any information on this company, it's called Trulers. Jack is a buddy. I told Jack what I was doing and boom, man, he loaded me up. He's got veneer calipers. He has angle meters, all digital. Really, really nice stuff. And then he has these super slick things, these magnetic tape measures. So you're gonna need to measure a lot, and you're gonna have, you could use a tape measure, but these are very inexpensive and easy to get, and Jack sends them out through the internet. So check him out. If you ever need, motorcycle gas tank, you're laying flames, you want to make sure they're close to the same, lay this on the motorcycle gas tank and, just lay out your program. So Truler, awesome. Revolt Paint, Tammy Miller. She's been a friend for a long time. I told her what I was doing. Boom. She just, sent me base coat and clear coat and, all the things that I need to do this. The other one, what else do we have on here? We've got, Sunmite Sandpaper. Yeah, awesome sandpaper, John Sutton. So if you're looking for great sandpaper, and there is a difference, this sandpaper company makes, I think, as good a sandpaper as I've ever seen, and it's a lot cheaper than 3M. And 3M is really good sandpaper, but it's expensive. Sunmite Sandpaper, look them up. John Sutton's my buddy, you'll find him online. There'll be Sunmite dealers, distributors through paint stores and all that stuff. So Sunmite is super. Infratech heaters. As we clear this up, as we finish this, Infratech heater will be how we infrared this, fully cure it out, so that we can block it and color sand and buff it. But as we move into the colder temperatures, check out Infratech. Great program, great products, reasonably priced, and they do exactly what you need them to do inside of a non-heated spray booth like what I have here. So those are some of the sponsors. And when I started in this business in 1980, I didn't know what I was doing. I was a kid. I was 20 years old at that time. We had a ton of work. One, because I was willing to hustle, and people, saw, okay, he's hustling. There really wasn't a lot of money for doing restoration work. Nobody was making any more. Actually, you could make more money in the collision industry than you could in the restoration business. But in the time period, I had that body shop for almost 30 years, I would see that you can make a lot more money, or at least get paid for your time, which is a lot because you're going to put a lot of time in, and you're going to see a lot of time right here. So, finding sponsors, wasn't easy in the beginning when I started in 1980, but by the 90s, we pretty much could, call up the sponsors, whether it be paint companies or tape companies, whoever. Maybe it's parts for the car, and tell them, hey, we're going to do a cover car, and I need an engine, I need transmission. All of that was possible then, and you know what? I believe it's possible now. But you've got to be recognized. You've got to be doing all the car shows, and you've got to be winning first place. And we did. At Tom's Auto Body, we won first place a lot of times. And you know the story. We would win first place at Pebble Beach in 1999. Now that takes a whole different kind of customer because you've got to make a whole bunch of things move in the right directions to win first place there. But I'm grateful. we had that opportunity. And I believe you can too if you do this work properly. So what we're going to do here, what Pro Paint and Body is all about, is doing professional work. Even though we're not in a great spray booth, and this is an old body shop that we have, we're not trying to, bring in a lot of customers. We'll do perfect work inside of this environment without spending, $500,000 for a downdraft spray booth, because we don't make that kind of money. And I'm not interested in that. What I make money on, and that's selling you polish. But I want to show you, and what our book series was all about, is doing professional level work even at home. So that's what Pro Paint and Body will be all about. Feel free to send me emails or call me anytime, 714-906-6619. And now let's dig in to putting the stripes on this 1970 Chevelle. So now we're going to get into the technical side. And I downloaded some instructions, and these are going to be really important. I will try to put a link in where I found it. If I can't, you can Google Chevelle Stripe dimensions. And this page really did help me. It looks like it's AI generated. It says AI overview. So the nice part about AI when you're working with this is it looks out over the whole internet and then finds what's consistently there, and then generates a page with what's consistently there. That doesn't mean it's perfect, but I did check quite a few other references, and this seems to be as close as anything that I found. Some of the details, and we're going to have a picture slide here of everything that I'm talking about, everything that we went through on putting down these stripes. But the first thing is these instructions. So key details for 1970 Chevelle SS Rally stripes. Pinstripe width. So there's only one pinstripe on the hood, and that's this outside white pinstripe. 30 thousandths of an inch. Really important. Now, the only way that I know to get a 30 thousandth of an inch stripe is you lay down 1/4 inch tape, and then you add 5 thousandths of an inch to what you want white. And we had already base coated this, you saw that. Now we're going to put down that, measuring from the center line and measuring from the crease on the hood, 30 thousandths of an inch. And then this black stripe, which they call pinstripe space, is 28 thousandths. And even in the video, you can see that the white stripe is substantially wider than the black stripe. And the black stripe isn't just 1/4 inch tape. That would be nice, right? But 1/4 inch tape looks really phony on these stripes. They look too thin. So I really like the way this came out. 28 thousandths here, 30 thousandths there. The next set of dimensions in this is hood stripe dimensions. So stripe from center line. So here's the center line. Really important that you do all your measuring with those truer devices to get your center line top to bottom. Now from that center line, it's 1.66, a little bit thicker than the 1.5 inches. 1.66 inches from center line on both sides. So really important. Then we go over to the crease on the hood, and that is 2.28 all the way up to the top, 2.28. Then the front edge of the hood to the stripe, almost an inch, 0.95. Really, really, really important that you get these dimensions square on here so everything looks very, very consistent. The next page that I have is the page, and this is installation dimensions, and it looks almost like a template, but it gives, some dimensions are a little bit different. They're probably close to the same, but they measure in fractions rather than with a decimal point. So on the front edge of the hood here, it's saying 15/16. So what's nice about the Truler is you have all of these dimensions on all of the different devices that Jack at Truler's puts together. So really, really important that you put that, that you use devices that measure every dimension that you can possibly come up with or that you see, and then, just follow the directions. And I hope that this makes doing something like this a lot easier. You'll see how we taped off these 30 thousandths by adding 5 thousandths of an inch to 1/4 inch tape, and then 28 thousandths we had to add 3 thousandths of an inch to a 1/4 inch pinstriping tape, which is at 25 thousandths. So really important that you get all this measured off the right way. Now once you have it this far, clear coat, so that you know what you're working with, block it down because we got to get rid of the ridge, and then we're going to clear it again. That would be 6 coats of clear, 3 coats first, let it dry down, and then 3 more coats, and hammer out the edge, and then buff it all out with CSI. So I hope this really helps. Let me know if you like this stuff. It's super fun doing this stuff. It's super fun sharing what we're doing. It's just a different way of promoting our businesses and what we do, and promoting CSI, promoting who we are in the industry. So give me a call if you have any questions, or email me. I'll put them both up here on behind me. thorvath@clearcoatsolutions.com and 714-906-6619. Thanks a lot, everybody. See you soon.